So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the chaos around the fracking vote. This information is accurate as of 8:54 on the 19th of October. And what a mess. So this all starts with Labour trying to pass a motion that would force a vote on a bill to ban fracking. And that bill was inevitably defeated. Braverman also quit for secondary reasons. So this is all to do with a motion from Labour to pass a bill up to ban fracking, which the Tories want to bring back fracking, even though in their manifesto they promised they wouldn't. And we'll talk about that manifesto promise in a bit, but there's other stuff I wanted to bring your attention to. So, start of the day, what do we have here? So this was posted at 10:57 a.m, right? Start of the day, from Beth Rigby, saying that Tory MPs were basically instructed to vote against this motion from the Labour Party even, government. I wish. The first is our handling on the economy, blah, blah, blah. I won't bore you with that stuff. The second debate is the main event today and is 100% hard 3-line whip. So in the UK, we have 3 different lines for whips. That's, the people who basically tell you how you're meant to vote. One line is essentially a free vote. You don't really know, there's no punishment. 2 lines means you have to find someone on the other side who's going to vote in the opposite way that the government want you to, and you counterbalance each other and you don't vote. It's like an abstention plus other stuff. 3-line whip is you have to vote how the government is telling you to. Otherwise, you're out of the party, and you're basically an independent MP. So this was the government saying to people, Tory MPs, you have to vote against this motion from Labour, and that's important because that sets the stage of the day. You got Robert Peston saying the government announces the fracking vote is no longer a confidence vote. So this is 7 p.m. today. Because of the scale of the expected rebellion by Tory MPs, Truss could not afford to expel them. It is no longer clear what authority she has over her party. Extraordinary, yes, yawn, another U-turn. This is important because effectively she said you either vote the way I'm telling you to vote or you're independent. And if we look at the numbers in a bit, you'll see that, the Truss had it in the bag, but she would have to throw out a lot of Tory MPs. Robert Peston saying this was Wendy Morton's last tweet before resigning, saying that Truss is a fighter and not a quitter. And when she says that, she sounds like she's about to be fired on The Apprentice. Genuinely that's what she sounds like. It'd be Lord Sugar saying, why shouldn't I fire you? And Liz Truss saying, I'm a fighter and not a quitter. Someone should make the video of that. I don't have the editing skills. You got Mike Galsworth, where I think he works for Byline or does work with Byline. This is a clip from William Bragg, who's a Tory MP, saying that he has to effectively vote against this fracking motion from Labour, purely because if he doesn't, he would have had the whip withdrawn from him. So this is from 2:40 today, saying that basically he couldn't vote with his conscience because of the Tories in power. And the only reason he would have voted for this fracking motion is purely because he wanted his vote of no confidence that he sent in to stay. So we'll watch this clip quickly.
You should allow me. The fracking debate that follows has been made a confidence vote. Yeah. If I vote as I would wish, then I would lose the whip. I would no longer be vice chair of the 1922 committee. I would no longer maintain a position as a chair of one of the select committees of the House. And indeed, because of that, my letter lodged with my honourable friend, the member for Altrincham and Sale West, would fall. And I wish to maintain that letter with my honourable friend. You should allow me. The fracking debate that follows has been made a confidence vote.
Sorry, Brain went there. So you can see the fracking vote. This is talking about the fracking vote being made a no confidence vote. And so, obviously he's not happy about that. But in the end, the government won. So government avoids major rebellion on fracking as Labour motion fails. So you got some 230 MPs voted for banning fracking, whilst 326 voted against the proposal. So the Conservative Party, they won by a decent amount. But yeah, still not much confidence in the Tories, because she had no idea how this would pan out. Apparently there was like fighting and shoving in the hallway. So if we go here right to this BBC article, they do mention it's a manifesto promise. So now Labour says it wants to give Tory MPs a chance to overturn the decision which broke a 2019 Tory manifesto promise. So last month, the UK government ended the fracking ban in England as part of its plans to limit rising energy costs. And the Tories promised they wouldn't. So there's that. There's also this clip I want to play from the BBC about this Tory MP being furious about things that have been happening within the party. And he's retiring. He's not going to run again. But yeah.
To be perfectly honest, this whole affair is inexcusable.
He's talking about the fracking debacle.
It is a pitiful reflection on the Conservative Parliamentary Party at every level. And it reflects really badly, obviously, on the government of the day.
Do you think there's any coming back from this?
I don't think so. But I haven't. I have to say I've been of that view really since two weeks ago. This is an absolute disgrace. As a Tory MP of 17 years, who's never been a minister, who's got on with it loyally most of the time, I think it's a shambles and a disgrace. I think it is utterly appalling.
So you seem quietly...
I'm livid. And, you know...
You can see it on his face. He's very unhappy.
I really shouldn't say this, but I hope all those people that put Liz Truss in number 10, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it for the ministerial red box. I hope it was worth it to sit round the cabinet table.
And the worst thing is, right, the majority of MPs barely backed her. She only just beat Mordaunt.
Because the damage they have done to our party is extraordinary.
I'm sorry, it's very difficult to convey. You look just furious about this.
I am. I've had enough. I've had enough of talentless people putting their tick in the right box, not because it's in the national interest, but because it's in their own personal interest to achieve ministerial position. And I know I speak for hundreds of backbenchers who right now are worrying for their constituents all the time, but now worrying about their own personal circumstances, because there is nothing as an ex-MP. And a lot of my colleagues are wondering, as many of their constituents are wondering, how they're going to pay their mortgages if this all comes to an end soon.
Effectively, you know, a lot of MPs are worried now that they're not going to, you know, that essentially the race is done for them, that they will never get back into Parliament, and they're probably right.
What do you do next? How do you move on from this?
Well, I'm leaving Parliament at the next general election, and I'm leaving voluntarily. But unless we get our act together and behave like grown-ups, I'm afraid many hundreds of my colleagues, perhaps 200, will be leaving.
200, he's saying potentially about 200 of them could be voted out, and it could be more depending on which polling you look at. So they are very nervous right now. They have no idea what they're doing.
At the behest of their electorate. So that's really pretty much all I've got to say. Patience reached the limit.
And you're probably not the only one.
It's just, honestly, it's madness. Sorry, I let that play on a bit longer than kind of I wanted to with that commentary, but that's honestly right. They're done. I think they know they're done now. There's no hope for them. He's retiring. What a day, huh? One absolute wild day. You know, normally there's only one big story that breaks per day, right? You're talking two, not big stories, you know, you're talking two massive stories here that are broken. The Braverman resigning and the fracking vote. You've got total confusion today. Robert Peston again at 8:19 p.m. saying, total confusion about whether the Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip had in fact resigned. I've been told by senior government members they'd gone, but Downing Street source told me I have no idea. Extraordinary. So they don't know who's the Chief Whip in the party or the Deputy Chief Whip. Absolutely madness. This is a different video I want to cover, but, you know, just one normal day in England, that's all I want. Will never happen. Honestly, will never happen. I can't do a good Conte impression, but honestly, I can't even at this point, you know. Tory MPs are furious, and do you know what? They absolutely deserve this. All of them deserve this because they've caused this mess. They've put us in this situation. I don't have a ton of sympathy for this guy. I really don't. Just like I don't have a ton of sympathy for this guy or any of them, because then they are the architects of their own downfall. And I hope, right, this Tory party are never in power for a generation at all. I hope they stay out of power for as long as possible. I hope they dissolve, because they are some of the biggest scumbags I've ever seen, what they've done to this country. This guy worried about how MPs and stuff are going to pay their mortgages. What have you done? You know, where's the worry? Where's the worry on these MPs, right, after what they've done to this country? I'm absolutely furious. I'm much, much angrier than this gentleman, I'll tell you that for free. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.